There's only one phone other than the iPhone that Apple users should care about, and that's the Google Pixel 8 Pro.
And if you are at all curious what it is like to use an Android phone from an Apple user perspective, or you even consider switching between the two, then this video is for you. Let's explore how this looks and feels, how it performs in the day-to-day, and most importantly, what are the cameras like? Plus, what is all this AI madness that everyone seems to be talking about and that's only available on the Google Pixel phones? The Google Pixel 8 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max are incredibly similar phones. They are so similar that one has to ask, has Google designed this with iPhone users in mind? Both of them feature a 5x telezoom. They weigh almost the same and they have virtually identical screen sizes. In fact, even though Google didn't tell you about this, they just happen to include magnets that are compatible with Google MagSafe. And that really makes you question, are we onto something? Additionally, the iPhone 15 lineup comes with rounded edges, and these two phones in the hand feel more similar than ever. They also come in two very similar color choices. This is the porcelain on the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and that is the natural titanium on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. There are obviously design differences in these two phones, but in the day-to-day, these two phones feel much more alike than people might think. Moving on to performance, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is fast, especially with the A15 Pro chip, which Apple develops themselves. But Google is definitely catching up, and after 1 week of testing, I can confidently say that this phone is fast. It never slowed down and it handled any task I threw at it perfectly. Plus, just like Apple, Google uses their own custom chipsets, and they're not only very fast, but they also come with a bunch of AI features, but more on that in a moment. The best performance increase comes from the display though, because it is not only significantly brighter than that on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but it also doesn't dim as quickly as the iPhone, because we all know the iPhone dims its display so fast when it gets even a little bit warm. And the Pixel handles this much better, which I appreciate because I live in Dubai and it's hot here. But both of them are so fast and definite flagships, so performance isn't an issue. But performance doesn't really matter because Android is super complicated to use, right? Wrong. Well, kind of, because there are Android phones out there which I would never recommend. And that's exactly why I'm talking about the Google Pixel 8 Pro and not something like the Samsung S23 Ultra. The Google Pixels are minimal and clean. There's no multiple app stores, there's no multiple accounts needed for you to log in, and there's no bloatware. You can navigate the Google Pixel just like your iPhone. Swiping up to see all your open apps. Swiping up again to close one of them. And you can even swipe down to see your control center or swipe left and right to go back and forth. Android actually does this better than the iPhone because the back and forth swipe gesture even works in apps, so you can go back and forth without pushing a button. Coming from an iPhone, you would feel right at home on the Google Pixel because the home screen is super minimal, the swiping gestures are almost identical, and the settings are really intuitive to use. But now let's talk about cameras, because this is where we see real-world differences and they matter a lot. But just a quick note, this video is number 1 in a series about the Google Pixel 8 Pro from an iPhone user perspective. In this video, we'll take a quick dive into the cameras, but in the next video, we'll do a deep dive into the differences between the two, so stay tuned. The Google Pixel lineup is historically known for very good photo quality, but video results vary from mediocre to bad. And after a week of testing this guy, I can tell you that this is no longer true. At least, not entirely. The photo quality is still amazing, as it's always been, especially with such a capable 5x lens, which is way better than on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This tele-lens delivers way sharper images, especially when zooming beyond the native 5x zoom. Here are some examples at 10x, 15x, 20x, 25x and 30x. But the real upgrade was in video, because the Pixel 8 Pro has seen significant upgrades there. The video quality that comes out of this phone is, in most cases, very similar to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. However, when your light disappears, so does the video quality on the Pixel 8 Pro. In darker environments, the Pixel really delivers video results that are so bad I wouldn't even post them on social media. Especially on the front camera, but even the back cameras are not much better. But many of these downsides may be improved with AI, and Google is really good at that. There are more AI features in the Google Pixel phones than I can count, and way too many for this video. But if you want me to make a video in this series about all of them, then just let me know in the comments below. To give you a taste of what iPhone users currently miss out on, here are 3.5 AI features on the Google Pixel. Number 1 is Magic Eraser. This is a way to delete things from your photos, and it works really well. Power lines, people, anything really, you name it. A little touch up and bloop, it's gone. Super useful. Number 2 is the brand new audio eraser. It can help you remove things but from your audio in your videos. Car noises, music, voices, wind, doesn't matter. The phone will identify them and then give you an option to dial them either up or down. This isn't perfect yet, but it's very impressive. And number 3, this is madness, Magic Editor. This feature comes straight out of a Black Mirror episode. You can basically do anything to any photo you want. You can see me here on the left in this photo, but let's put me in the center just by selecting me as a subject and then moving me with my finger into the right place. Yup, that's magic. And insane. And finally, the half feature. I call it a half feature because it isn't out yet, but it was announced at the Google Pixel launch event. Google promises us a new feature called Video Boost, which is sort of a night mode, but for video. This should arrive later this year, and it's a weird one because first you need to upload your video to Google Photos and then you have to wait several hours for Google to process this video before it sends it back to your phone. Super weird, but I'm excited to test it once it's out. And now very briefly, let's talk about the durability and the battery life. Popular YouTuber JerryRigEverything has tested the Google Pixel 8 Pro and concluded that it's basically a tank. So if you're a clumsy person, then this is good news. And as for battery life, both of these phones in my experience have lasted me a full day and then some, so nothing to talk about there. Stay tuned for the next video in this series where we'll do a real life comparison between both of these phones, and until then, peace!